Hey everyone, welcome back to AFTV. Welcome to another Monday live show with me and Robbie. How you doing?
Monday live shows are good.
They are good. This is Turkish assess. I'm joking.
Yeah, number one, they in on it.
Yeah.
And number two, at the moment, it always seems to be on the back of a win.
Yeah.
And it's feeling good, man. It's
Bit of a lucky
good.
one, this one, though, wasn't it?
Do you know what, right? This is going to sound very controversial now, yeah? When I came out of the game, it felt very lucky. Mm-hmm. Every Leeds fan that walked past me outside the game said to me it was lucky, and I agreed with them. When I look back at the game now, when I watched it back yesterday when I got home, I'm like, all right, we were a bit fortunate in some areas, but to say lucky, I don't know. I think we showed a lot of grit and determination. I thought we worked our socks off, even though we were below par in that second half, and we've got a great result in the end. I think we look back at this in time and say to ourselves, "Yeah, that was a really good 3 points. Really ground it out when we weren't at our best." You know, because sometimes I was discussing this, and Lee Judges was here earlier, right? Me and him were chatting, and I was sort of discussing this with him, and I was saying, lucky. All right, the penalty that they got, actually, it turns out they were lucky.
Yeah.
Because it was never a penalty, you know what I mean? You can clearly see when I watched it back that there's a Leeds player miles offside and the VAR didn't pick it up. So was that lucky?
No, that was lucky for them.
Because it's lucky for them. It shouldn't have been a penalty. So that's number one.
Lucky they missed it.
Right? Lucky they missed it, but they shouldn't have had it.
Yeah,
so,
justice,
right? And then the incident at the end, the VAR, it seems lucky because we're all thinking, oh my God, right at the end now, we've blown it. You know, but actually the VAR was spot on. So that's not lucky either. That's actually a truth of fact that it shouldn't have been a penalty, and that you can clearly see that the person who committed the foul was Bamford. Gabriel actually unlucky in a way to probably get a booking. If Bamford didn't get one, who's the one who instigated the whole thing. So how lucky were we when you really think about it? They had a chance, I think it was Sinistera, that was a bit wasteful with that chance when he sort of could possibly have done better with it. But then look at the chance that Gabriel Jesus missed.
Yeah.
Under normal circumstances, he would have buried that all day long. So when you sort of analyse it like that, how lucky were we? We were a bit below par. They played, I thought, Leeds, they were brilliant, especially in that second half. The way they pressed us, their energy, everything was brilliant about them. But I think we put in a very good performance. You know what I mean? Rear guard performance, those sort of performances where, you know, they say, you know, what you're going to do when you don't have the ball. We worked our socks off.
Yeah,
we put our bodies on the line. So how lucky was it? When you analyse it like that, you get what I'm meaning? Because, you know, when you're at a game like, you know, especially with all the incidents and even from the start of the game when there's not even any electricity, you know. But I think Arsenal, I'm going to really credit the team and say well done to the team, because that was a real backs against the wall performance. And I thought in the end, we deserved the 3 points.
Okay. I don't agree. I agree with a lot of what you said.
Where's the luck?
The luck is in the sheer amount of chances they missed. All second half, we were backs against the wall, dealing with pressure, under pressure.
What's the... one second. When you say luck, right? So,
I don't think Bamford's fouled Gabriel. I think there's very little on it. It's soft.
Oh, come on. Are you joking?
It's soft. I think it's soft. I think it's really soft. Yeah.
Bamford pushes over... It's an obvious foul.
Okay.
It's an obvious foul.
I don't think it's. I think we're a bit lucky that. I think if that had been given and then they watched it back, I don't think they'd have overturned it. So the referee spotted it there and then. There's maybe a little bit. I think when you're watching it in slow motion, and then I think Gabriel maybe feels a bit, and then. But I don't think there's an obvious push away from him. I think there's a little bit.
I think you need to watch it again. I think that's a definite foul.
I'll watch it again.
Funny enough, right? We watched it because, you know, in the game. They actually showed it back in the game, and everybody, like, you could even see the Leeds fans thinking, oh my God, Bamford did push him first. And even after the game, when I was chatting to a Leeds fan and he was giving it the whole lucky thing, right? Which is fair. I understand why they're saying that, but when I said to him, I go, did Bamford push Gabriel then at the end? For he goes, yeah, he did, but.
I'll watch it back because I watched the Sky Sports. I mean, we had it there, and then I was watching back the highlights after, and it wasn't the best of views, but it didn't look like a lot to me. But I think just that whole second half. By the way, I thought the first half we edged it. I thought the first half we were
the better team in the first half, not by a lot, because again, as I said, Leeds played well. But he's watching it back here. We're getting to it.
Fully watch it. So that's the penalty. Right. So Saka scores.
What a goal that was! It
was a great goal. Right. So I'm watching Bamford and Gabriel.
That's not the incident.
That's it there. So he's there's an arm on his shoulder.
Yeah, he's pushed him. He's shoved him away.
I can't believe the Leeds official highlights didn't want to show that a little bit more than what we got.
I wonder why not.
Wow, I can't believe. No, but
that's an obvious push. Obvious push. You can see him. He pushes him in the back, and
do you think Gabriel's weak in that moment? I know we're going to lay off him, but
I don't. I think if you're like both sort of jumping, look, they're both.
There's not a lot.
No, hold on.
Look at that. I know. Sorry, you guys can't see it. We're watching it back,
right? But if you go onto Sky and you can see their highlights of it, right? But if you see it, he pushes him in the back. Do
you know what it is? I can't defend it much because there is contact.
Let me say something. When two people are jumping for a ball, yeah, and you push them like that.
Yeah,
that's enough.
Yeah, all right.
It was a foul. Simple as. Great decision by the referee. So that's not luck.
I think in the second half they did more than enough to get a goal.
They played very well in the second half,
and probably.
But what about crediting out? What about instead of saying, what about us as Arsenal fans? Instead of saying we're lucky, crediting our defending.
Okay,
and saying
let me ask
well done to the team who defended brilliantly in that second half, particularly Gabriel. I thought he was very, very good yesterday. I know we're going to come on to that, but what about crediting those players who put their body on the line and kept a clean sheet when we weren't at our best?
Well, for what it's worth, this is my third show talking about this game. I did full time yesterday and I've done Tactical Insight. And in both shows, I was very quick to talk about the work ethic, and the Arsenal players gave absolutely everything. And sometimes you just earn your own bit of luck. Sometimes just through sheer going for everything and putting your body on and all that, you just get away with it sometimes. I think we got away with it yesterday, personally. But massive credit to the players for constantly going. I thought Saka was immense. I thought Ramsdale. So there's a lot I've given credit for. But the reason I think they got a bit lucky is I think the amount of chances that Leeds had throughout the game, especially that second half, they were absolutely all over us. And we offered nothing going the other way in terms of a counter-attack or another threat in the second half. So I think that was a big thing.
I'm still taking issue with you. Right? Well, they hit the bar?
Ramsdale didn't have a save to make, did he?
No, hold on. They hit the bar. They hit the post. They scrambled, goal line clearance scrambled.
I think Somerville absolutely skied one from like 10 yards out.
There was that one, but like I said, Gabriel Jesus had one that he skied. Well, we're not focusing on that, did we?
But that
was an easier chance. But I'm saying, when you say we got away with one, right? Did they hit the bar? Did they hit the post? Did we scramble any off the line?
No, there was a few scrambles in the box though.
No, they scramble any off the line or anything like that. No,
but you're talking about the millimeters. That decide a football match.
No, but hold on. So if it's scrambled away in the box, what's that? What is that then?
What do you mean? What is that?
I know you're an expert on.
It just means no expert.
No. But if the ball's in the box and your defenders have managed to get that ball away from danger, what is that?
Yeah, good defending.
Right.
Or bad defending.
Hold on, that's not luck then, is it?
We can say bad defending that it got all the way to the penalty area to the point where we had to scramble it away.
Yeah, but the defenders have done their job. They've done a great job.
The centre-backs or whoever at the last minute
they've done a great job, right? So that's what I'm saying. We got to look at what is luck from what is good defending, right? So to me, how I look on it is, they tested the keeper, but Aaron Ramsdale pulled off a couple of good saves. I don't think he had to make an unbelievable save. You watched that. I don't know if you saw the Liverpool City game and that save that Edison made, which I couldn't believe how he made. That
was an amazing
save. I think I watched the game. I think it was Kepa made an unreal save in the game, right? For Chelsea against Villa. But I'm saying, I didn't see Ramsdale have to pull off a save. I'd be like, that was unreal. He made he made several good saves, yeah. But none of them were like, you were like, oh my God. You know what I mean? He made several good saves, so he done his job.
Yeah.
Played really well. That's why
he was immense.
that's why I made
did a
him
whole
man
section
of
of him.
that's why I made him man of the match. That's why we paid that money for him. That's why for me he should be England's #1 goalkeeper, because he's a very good goalkeeper. That's what we've got. In our armoury, we've got a top goalkeeper. And then we defended well to stop them from scoring.
I don't think we defended
luck
well.
For me, when people talk about luck, that is like you had decisions go for you that shouldn't have went for you. So the decisions that went for us should have went for us. Or luck is sometimes when, you're playing in a game, the ball's gone in off the bar, you know what I mean? They've hit the post 3 times.
Nah, not for me.
The bar. I think that, when it's something like
that. Lucky is that Leeds didn't punish us for all the ball they had, all the openings they created. I'm with you.
But what do you put down to good defending then? What is it? Because you know what?
There was some very good goals from Gabriel.
This leads to
there was some good defending.
But this leads to the same thing that we're talking about when we're talking about somebody like a Gabriel, right? Right? Everybody can pick the error. But what about, like, when you look at a game like that and you analyse it, what about the great work that the defenders have done to keep the ball from going in the back of the net? You can't just always say it's luck. We're going to have games where teams are on top of us. Yeah. When teams are dominating us, and that is when you need your defenders to stand up, and that's what they did yesterday. Yeah,
I don't agree. I don't disagree with any of that.
You're saying you say it's luck.
Let me read.
You said it's right at the start of the show. I'm taking issue with you because right at the start of the show you said it's luck.
I think it's lucky that they didn't punish us.
No, that's not luck.
Okay, fine.
This is good defending.
It's good defending. It's good defending. It's good. No, there's no way I'd ever get involved in it. Let's keep this verbal. That's the only way I've got a chance.
Listen, I just take an issue. That is not luck.
I think fight.
That's a part of the game. When you see the other thing is, listen. When we fight. When you see teams do that, sometimes other teams, great back to the wall performance. When Conte does it, Conte, man, it's organised.
Well, I don't.
Back to back. I think great rear guard defensive thing. That's what you're going to have to do. Not every single game. I know as Arsenal fans. This season, we've got used to us playing brilliant football. Got used to us doing. You know what? As a matter of fact, I'll give you an actual game where I do think we got lucky. Go on. Bodo Glimt in the second half, and the reason why I'd say that now with the Bodo Glimt one is because they were clean through twice. Yeah. 1-on-1, and they just blasted it over. That was more. That wasn't our defending. That was more their players just messed up. Whereas in the case of yesterday, I felt it was our defending, our rear guard action, the amount of players we got behind the ball that stopped them from scoring.
Okay. Breathe. I hear what you're saying. Look, I just don't think for the amount of possession they had in and around our box, the amount of times I saw people say resilient. I think mentally, in terms of we kept going, we went for everything, sure.
And physically.
I think they had far too many openings. I think that
physically
with every attack they came at us, I thought we might concede.
We were physically no, you fought, but we didn't. Yeah, because we held on. We put bodies on the line. We got people behind the box on ball. We put in blocks. Just as a person's about to say cross the ball, we stopped them from crossing it. You know what I mean? Got a little on it. That is good defending. We've got to big that up sometimes. We can't always just look on it because Arsenal have been dominating teams. That because now there's a game, like that, it's luck.
Robbie, I don't look at it like that. When we beat Man City 2-0 in the FA Cup a couple of years ago with Arteta, and we spent the whole 90 minutes on the back foot, that wasn't luck because we scored 2 great goals on the counter. We limited them largely to decent chances. It was brilliant defending, and Arsenal over the years have done that quite a few times. So I'm no stranger to Arsenal having to dig in and finding a way. I don't mind that. That you can deserve a win even if you have 20% possession. But yesterday wasn't that for me. Yesterday was Leeds totally for 45 minutes. First half,
second half,
all Leeds.
Yeah, but what did they do with it?
Well, what did they do? I mean,
what did they do with it? What were they able to do with it? As I said, did they hit the crossbar? Did they hit the post? Did Ramsdale have to pull off some unreal saves? No.
Okay.
Right? Where you can, as I said, where you could probably look on it and say, Arsenal, you're lucky you got away with that, is they missed a penalty. Yeah? That 9 times out of 10 teams scored a penalty. However, where now I draw back now is that I, having looked on it, shouldn't have got a penalty in the first place. So we were the ones there were unlucky. Because that weren't a penalty, because the clear offside, you see it?
Yeah.
Clear offside. Yeah. And then the decision at the end, wrong decision, overturned by VAR, which I think everybody who's seen it agrees with it and says that was the right thing to overturn it. So it ain't luck.
Okay.
It ain't luck.
I think we were lucky.
I think if the electric would have been gone and we had to play with that VAR, we could have been in a worse position, right? Because they would have had that to check it. But it weren't luck. It's a good defensive performance. It's the ugly side, what they say, that we did very well in that second half. We were clearly under the cosh, and credit Leeds for that. Credit Leeds for that. I was at the game and they were in their intensity, the way they crowded us out, the way they closed us down. They were brilliant in that second half, but they just couldn't get their sort of shots away and stuff like that because
Let me ask you a really
so well.
simple question. Do you think Arsenal played well yesterday?
I think in the first half we played well.
Second half?
I think in the second half, defensively, we did well.
Do you think Arsenal played well yesterday?
Not as well as we normally do, no.
Do you think Leeds played well?
I think Leeds played very well.
So do you not think that, therefore, we were a bit lucky to come out with the win?
No.
We didn't play that well,
because
they played really well.
No, because we did the ugly side of the game well.
I think we did a lot of the ugly things well.
We did the ugly side of the game well.
I think there were far too many scrambles in the box. There were far too many scrambles in the box. There were far too many awkward moments.
Teams on top of you.
I think we were being pulled apart. I don't think we had any shape really. I think what do you know what it was? This was one of those games where I actually thought the individual performances were better than the team performance. And what I mean by that is I think Gabriel and Saliba, though both had their moments here and there, actually stood up to it. Gabriel more than Saliba. We're going to get onto the Gabriel stuff in a sec. I think Saka really stood up to it. I thought everyone worked hard. Saka's work rate, Martinelli's work rate. Jesus clearly wasn't at his best, and he gave us all. So Ramsdale was immense. So I think the individual performances were actually like Ben White, Tomi were largely very good, but we were pulled apart from pillar to post in that
Arsenal
second half.
of last year,
all over us. But and by the way,
Arsenal
I'm not
of
that
last year
about
loses
it.
that game.
I'm not. Yeah, probably.
Right? Why would they lose that game last year?
Well, because I don't know, mentality.
Or the year before? Why would they lose it?
Quality of player.
You know why? They'd fall apart.
Okay.
They'd be under so much pressure, the Arsenal of last year, that they'd fall apart. Right? Somebody wouldn't get back, wouldn't track a runner. Somebody wouldn't help out someone who was up. You know what I mean? That's why I admire that performance yesterday, because you know what? It's a performance where, and these performances are going to happen.
I admire it
and
too.
will happen a lot in a season, right? And our backs were against the wall, and everybody backed every player. Everybody stood up and just almost like, right, we're not getting forward, but we've got to hold out and keep a clean sheet to win this game. We want to win this, and we're going to put everything on the line to win it. And that's why I admired that performance yesterday, because those are some of the performances that win you things. You've got to stay in the game. You've got to just hold out. And much as Leeds were brilliant in that second half, how hard they tried, our rear guard action was brilliant.
Why were Leeds brilliant?
Because they played very well.
And so in what way did they play well?
I think they... No, I didn't say they didn't do anything.
You did. You said, what did we have to do? What did we have to stop?
But I'm saying...
anything.
No, but because we stopped them.
Okay.
They were brilliant. So they were brilliant up until... Would you say they were brilliant up until the final third?
I think they were brilliant literally other than the finish.
Till the final third, that's what.
Yeah, well, the finish.
Even
the last move, they got into the box a couple times and they didn't put it away.
And they was able to get a shot off.
Yeah, sometimes not.
What's the sometimes? Did they get how many on target?
Somerville is a good block from Gabriel. There are a few moments.
I'd love to. You know what? Actually, I'm going to have to look at some of the stats. I know you got.
Well,
do a load of those super chats. Let me.
By the way, this did make
I'm sure
me laugh.
Starting
you down says lay off James, which did make me laugh. We'll see on trend.
Right, do some.
Can I just
because we've got loads of super chats.
Really quick, I'm going to go through all the super chats really quickly because I don't want to create this false. I see you lot in the comment section, right? I don't want to create this false.
Oh, he's under pressure now.
Yeah, I'm under pressure now. I'm trying to fight back here. Please don't think that just because I thought we got a little bit lucky that I'm particularly bothered by it. We played 10 Premier League games. I think in 9 of them we were clearly the better team. And in this one, I thought we weren't. I thought they were much the better team. You got it there. We got it on Tactical Insight. 16 shots they had to our 9.
16 shots to our 9.
They had an XG
Hold on.
2 goals to our 0.87.
XG, right?
Yeah, well, that's why you're not on Tactical Insight.
Right, I've got, and they had an AG of 0.
Well, what's an actual goals?
Actual goals.
Very good.
Right, you know what I mean? I like people with these expected goals.
Yeah,
my new stat is AG, actual goals. I've got 0, right? They had 16 shots. Fair enough, brilliant. 16 shots, but only 4 of them were on target. And we were lucky. We had nine. We had 9
it's
shots.
Lucky that only 4 of them were on target.
Hold on. We had 9 shots, and we also had 4 on target. One of them which went in the back of the net.
Great finish.
And according to you, we're lucky.
Well, Saka's a great finish.
It's unbelievable.
It's amazing. Do you think most people score from that angle? I think it was a great finish because it's a tight angle.
I don't think most people score from that angle. No.
Right. So it's not lucky. It's brilliant from Saka. But on that one occasion, we took advantage
because we're a better team. Because we're a better team, so we were able to. But also, actually, no. Wait a minute. Going back to that goal, it's a brilliant goal.
It's an amazing goal.
It's an amazing goal
from the press to everything. We talked about.
But also, the build up to that goal by them is a bit of shocking play by them, where Rodrigo plays the ball across the field inexplicably, gives the ball away to Arsenal, and we punish them. Punish them. But in their case, right, as I said, our defending was better than theirs. That's why we won the game.
I actually don't think. I think they defended really well.
Well, not in that case. They didn't.
Not in that.
They gave the ball away and left Saka wide open out on that side. He was the dangerous player in that first half, and they got punished.
Yeah, look, I'm just trying to.
4 shots on target. We had 4 shots on target.
I'm just being
we
fair,
were lucky.
I sat here when we lost to Man United 3-1 and we had all the chances, we had all the ball, blah, blah, and they kept saying, but what clear-cut chances did you have? What saves did they have to make?
There was saves they had to make. What are you talking about in that game?
Well, I'm just telling you what they're saying. Robbie, I'm just telling you what they're saying.
No, but this is different. No, you can't compare that to this.
No, and I felt in that game that they were lucky to win that. We were very unlucky to lose it because we had
they said they
we
were
had
lucky.
all control, we had all the game, blah, blah. In this game, I give it to you. I thought the first half we edged it. Second half, I honestly thought it was one of the worst Arsenal performances I've seen in a while.
Second half.
But the commitment was amazing.
Second half, we were poor attacking, but defensively, it was a backs to the wall performance, and we were done very well. We put our bodies on the line. Players backed up other players. Players got back up to help. The ugly side of the game, what they talk about. The part of the game sometimes you have to actually be at the game to appreciate it. When you see players getting back to help out other players, when you see Jesus literally playing the whole game in his half, in our own half, because he's helping out the defence. That's what I want to see from our team. That's what wins you things. When everybody is like, right, we're keeping a clean. It's not our day today going forward, but we are going to fight to keep this clean sheet. Big up the team for that. It's not always. You can't always put it down to luck. And if it was, as I said to you, even me, and I'm trying not to be, I'm not being wise after actually, because when I walked out the game, I was like, lucky. I'm like, yo, we got away with that one. We're lucky. When I watched it back, I'm like, hold on, let me reassess this. No, we're not lucky. Because the main thing that I really thought we were lucky is like that missed penalty. Because not a lot of teams miss penalties, so you get away with it. But when I saw that, and I'm like, yo, you shouldn't even have a penalty in the first place.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
they were lucky to get that.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's something we agree on. The thing is, we're only half an hour in and we've still got so much. Let's do the super chats. And we'll we found one thing we agree on in 29 minutes. All right, for what it's worth, the comments are really swinging both ways. I was fighting a losing battle, but some of you have stepped up for me. You're riding for me. Thank you. Chaitanya says, Gabby had a better performance than people think. He does have that aggressive nature, which turns into a mistake, but I feel that we need that attitude. Sky Touche says, Gabriel's stats, 100% duels, 90% pass accuracy, 8 out of 9 duels, won 4 clearances, 4 blocks, and put his body in the line to save a goal. Lay off. Yep.
Exactly. Thank you very much for that.
Let's talk about, let's actually do the Gabriel conversation properly in a sec, because I want everyone to remember that last Monday, we were both here defending him massively. So I'm looking forward to this discussion. AFC Max says, Max Hay again, facts on the Leeds game, Gabriel penalty and red card was correct call, and if Leeds had taken their chances, then they would have won, and Gabriel and White were our two best defenders. James, take your Gabriel stick glasses off. Hashtag rubbish. Max, I'm always bigging you up, man. What's that for? Kelvin says, James, Leeds not being clinical ain't luck. Kelvin, I wholeheartedly disagree with you. We're all entitled to our opinions, but saying Leeds not being clinical isn't luck. It's a complete opposite. It's exactly lucky. The fact that Leeds weren't clinical and didn't take their opportunity. Now, if you said, I think Robbie's point is better. How many actually great chances did they have? That I struggle with. But if you're telling me they had their chance but they weren't clinical, that's us being completely lucky. That's nothing to do with us.
Yeah, I'd agree with what you're saying there. But what I'd say is the only clear-cut chance I remember them having, I think it was that, and I wouldn't even say it was clear-cut. It was a wasteful chance. I think it was that Sinistera. He had a chance.
Which one was that again?
There's one where he put it over the bar when he could have done better with that. He could at least got it on target.
I remember some of them blazed one and he should have scored.
Yeah, that's the one, Sinistera. Right, okay. But then if you think about it, Gabriel Jesus in the first half, he had a clean, easy chance. And he put that over as well. So 1-1 in that.
Modality, what are you saying? Why didn't they finish them, Jay? Because people miss chances, because they're human. Listen, this is a separate thing. The point is, you can't say because they weren't clinical, we weren't lucky.
He's under pressure. Anyway. He's under pressure, mate.
Game pro, you've all rattled me. You got to my head. Do you know what? I have a really long day on Mondays. I record 3 things. Come on. Anyway.
So have I had a long day as well.
Yeah. Well, you're an expert. You know what you're doing.
You're rattled.
You're
Come on, keep giving us enough. Don't skip none neither.
Game pro, Kelvin says, I think I rattled James. You did, Kelvin. You absolutely got me. Game pro says, Leeds only had 4 shots on target, not really lucky. I'm not going into that again. Adam says, it's lucky we have Saliba. Every mistake that led to the goal, card or pen this season, has come from a Gabriel error. Ooh.
Well, hold on.
Like that.
I know we're going to get to that, right? I know we're going to get to the Gabriel thing, but listen, right there we have some of the problem, because yesterday, who gave away the handball? It was Saliba. And who made that mistake? That was the one error, actually. And even then, you can't say he's lucky, because he was bailed out by Ramsdale, who was quick off his line and smothered the ball. Brilliant goalkeeping by him, right? Mm-hmm. But it was Saliba who gave away the ball that nearly led to them having a clear-cut chance. But again, the brilliance of our keeper. That's not lucky. That's the brilliance of Ramsdale. That's excellent defending by Ramsdale.
If you watch Tottenham play whoever, and we all say about Tottenham, and they conceded 10 shots on goal and Lloris made 10 world-class saves, are you not sitting there going...
He didn't make 10 world-class saves, though.
And I'm just... But that's your point. If you magnify your point more, what you're basically saying is, as long as your keeper plays amazing, then it's not lucky.
No. Hold on. Wait a minute. I said it right from, about 10 minutes ago. Ramsdale didn't have to make 10 world-class... He didn't have to make any world-class saves.
Yeah.
He just had to make saves. He kept, but he didn't make
I agree. He didn't make any.
He didn't make any saves that I was like,
oh
my God, did you see that save by like the Kepa one that I saw on Saturday? Was like, he made good saves, but he made all the saves that he made were saves that I'd expect him to make.
Zarasa says, I think we were unlucky. He's got a completely different mind. Listen, let's get through the super chat. We've got to talk about Gabriel as well. FC Max says, if Gabriel hadn't blocked the shot from Sinistera, that would have been a goal. There are numerous other chances, Robbie, but James, it wasn't down to luck, it was down to not being clinical. Simple as that. Okay, so he sits somewhere in between us. He thinks there were a lot of chances, but ultimately we defended them well.
Yeah, if you're going into the box as a striker and you want to get your shot off and there's bodies in front of it, that's what Arsenal did well yesterday.
Yeah, I agree.
There's body upon body in front of you. You can't get a shot off.
Yeah.
So it looks like, when you're watching it, you're like, bloody hell, we're lucky. Actually, it's good defending, because you're getting bodies behind the ball in the box. And listen, this is not how we play it week in, week out. But we was, when they say in football, you've got to suffer. We suffered in that second half.
Yeah.
But we
it was
came
very
out,
Atletico Madrid.
But we did, yeah. Oh, and when Simeone does it, it's a masterclass.
Yeah.
When we do it, it's lucky.
Evan says, Leeds looked like they'd had an extra player second half. I agree, Evan.
Well, you know what? I really do think, right, that Bodo Glimt away trip, plastic pitch, we saw the effects of that in the second half. We looked a little jaded. And they looked energetic, man. Trust me, they were a very fit side. So
yeah. Ride 25 says, Robbie, I know you love Gabs, but Tomiyasu needs to be brought in and Gabriel needs to be dropped. Saliba overall levels have exposed Gabriel, in my opinion.
Tomiyasu made a bad...
or two, but he's making too many mistakes.
Tomiyasu made a bad error in the game as well. Remember that?
Yeah, he did.
But he was bailed out again by one of his other defenders. Right? That wasn't Gabriel. That's the guy that you want to replace him with. Lay off Gabriel. All right, we'll get to that.
Young Gunner says that second half was terrible. Couldn't keep possession. We did get lucky. If that was a better side, we would have been punished. I do agree with Robbie. How did they miss the offside leading to the pen? Cameron Lowry says, remember, guys, Robbie doesn't have opinions. He has facts. He tells you what he thinks it is, and that's that. Are you going to come for Cameron? RJN says, Robbie, stop. I'm just proof that I'm not just making these up. Robbie, stop being delusional. James is correct. We were lucky, but luck is a part of sport sometimes. That's fine, as long as we got the points.
It's not luck. It's called good defending.
Hit 44 says, Gabriel was levels above Saliba on the weekend. Cliff says, like listening to Ty and Julian, hashtag Robbie. J3F3, with a super chat, but no text, thank you very much. Sky Touche says, seriously, both of you guys are right. We got lucky and the resilience of the team was admirable. Kelvin, I think I rattled James. You're spot on. Brian says, I hate to see Gabriel become a Mustafi. Looks really stiff and mistake prone. Hope Arteta goes ballistic him off field. Positive, one game at a time. Glody says Sergio Ramos always had a mistake in him too, but he is looked at as one of the best centre-backs ever. Honest Arsenal fans, stop scapegoating Gabriel. He is the greatest centre-back of all time and is clearly beyond criticism despite making crucial mistakes most games.
All right.
Diallo says, sure, we were lucky, but Robbie's point is you're overblowing the luck factor. We defended our box resolutely thanks to Gabriel and Ramsdale. Earned luck. Diallo, I can absolutely agree with that. I can agree with that. That you can earn some luck through defending brilliantly, and maybe it's a little overblown. That's fair. FC Max says, James, I love you, but you're wrong on this. It isn't luck. If it wasn't for Gabriel and Ramsdale, we would have lost. Equally, if Leeds had taken their chances, we would have lost. Careful, Robbie might stick you back in the frozen room. Yeah, well, 5 days in there already. That's why I've come out so cold and heartless. Adam says, all season, Robbie, not just one game. Most of the time, Gabriel error. Fine, let's get into this. Let's get into this Gabriel thing. The numbers were read out earlier, and there were other numbers that did the rounds on Twitter, and we talked about it on Tactical Insight, and they were actually comparing. It was Arkash, I think, posted it on Twitter, and he basically he had Saliba and Gabriel's numbers next to each other, and Gabriel's are better in almost all departments.
Much better.
Not just for the game, but no, all season. It surprised you, apparently. I have to kind of fact check.
I mean, listen,
I
think Saliba is a better defender than Gabriel, right? He's still unbelievable. Even though he made that mistake yesterday, players make mistakes. Listen, you know what I mean? There's no player that is going to go through sometimes be flawless, especially in defence. It's a very hard position to play because every little error you make is highlighted, right? Saliba's our best centre-back. But as a pairing, as a partnership, I like the partnership. Gabriel's that more sort of aggressive one, that more sort of one that, you know what I mean? But I thought yesterday in the game, and I was at the game, I thought he was excellent. The only blemish I'd say, right, that I'm going to put on him for that game was right at the end of the game with the Bamford thing. On those situations in the last second, don't get involved. Don't get involved, right? Even though you was fouled, even though you're upset, don't get involved. But then it's hard to take, you know, you've got two defenders, you've got one kind of almost like a Rolls Royce type of smooth
defense on his feet, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and then you've got another one is that more rugged sort of, you know. And I've looked at partnerships over the years. Like, remember when, you know, even at Arsenal, we used to have like Sol Campbell, Toure. Toure being the more rugged, sort of raw one. United used to have, when they used to have Ferdinand and Vidic. Vidic was that sort of more the rough guy, you know what I mean? Ferdinand was, you know, somebody mentioned earlier about Ramos. It was Ramos and Varane. You know what I mean? Varane, silky smooth, Rolls Royce. Varane, the absolute beast in there. I'm sorry, Ramos, the absolute beast in there. I don't want to take away from Gabriel. I like him as a player. What he does need to do is just like cut out a few of the mistakes, but drop him.
No,
I think it's ridiculous to talk about dropping this guy, because as you said, when you look at his stat, when you look how many headers he wins, how many clearances and stuff like that, he's had little jittery moments, but listen, drop him. Come on, that makes no sense to me about dropping him. Drop him for who?
Yeah,
And as I said, you know, I mean, that guy said bring in Tomi Asu. Tomi Asu made a mistake, a big error yesterday. That he was, you know, and again, he was bailed out. I think it was by Gabriel, I'm sure it was, Gabriel who covered him. And that's what I loved about yesterday, because in games, mistakes happen. It's the job of your other defenders, your other teammates to help you out when those happen. And we did that very well yesterday. But lay off Gabriel, man. Gabriel is doing a good job. Gabriel, Saliba is a great partnership that a lot of other teams in the Premier League would love to have.
Yeah, and Yakan says you can't make your judgment between Gabriel and Saliba on stats. If that's the case, then Mustafi is better than Van Dijk because his stats are better. There was one point where his stats were better. Yeah. First of all, I don't want to make this Gabriel versus Saliba thing. I think we're so lucky to have both. And then White can play there. You've got Tomi Asu. Holding's come in and done a brilliant job this season when asked. So I love them both. Now, on Gabriel, we spent a lot of time, a bit like this debate, you know, about how lucky we were. We spent a lot of time arguing with the comment section, although we were on the same team for that one, about Gabriel. And I'm with you. I was with you and I'm with you. Don't drop him. He's playing a lot better than people think. He's having much better people than people think. However, the mistakes are a little bit of a recurrence, and they're not all his fault. And Saliba's not perfect in any of these things either. But I think if he just refines that part of his game, he can be a top centre-back. Now, this is not trying to dig him out here. Obviously, this is the whole point of this show, is to lay off him. But I just think it's important to get the right context. Mistake against Fulham, the Mitrovic thing. Mistake against Tottenham with the penalty. Mistake against Liverpool where he doesn't deal with the ball. I think Nunes is actually offside, but he doesn't deal with it over the top. Mistake against United when he's pulled out of place for the Anthony goal. He comes and it leaves a massive gap. And then you got this game where I think the referee made the right decision not giving a penalty, that second penalty, because Bamford runs into Gabriel. This is my thing. Bamford was nowhere near the ball. Ramsdale had got it. Gabriel, for me, in that moment, wanted to just check that Bamford wasn't going to get there, puts his body in the way, and there's a situation caused that didn't need to be created. He goes down, and for me, he does lift his leg. I don't think it's a kick out. I don't think it's a swing, but he definitely lifts his leg in the air. I think they could have kept the red card, you know. They could have not given the pen and said it's not a penalty because it's not a foul in again, you know, in the match moment, if that makes sense. But there's a high leg, and we think that might have been deliberate. Now, ultimately, it's hard to know. It would have been
a very harsh red card.
It would have been very harsh. It's a bit like Simicas's, where, you know, it didn't look great, but you've got to give the player the benefit of the doubt. So I think ultimately they came to the right decision. But I think in that case, the word lucky coming up again, I think Gabriel's a little lucky in that situation. And my thing would be, why are you doing it? Why are you lifting your leg that high? Why is that whole thing happened? Because I agree, he was very good yesterday for a lot of the game. But I think he was a little weak on with Bamford with the push. But cool, maybe he was in the air, couldn't do anything about it. But I definitely think he was a little lucky with that one at the end.
I agree when you say, you know, I mean, it's cut out that rashness, you know. But he was excellent yesterday.
Yeah.
But he could have ruined it. I hear what you're saying. He could have ruined it by getting a red card with that slight bit of petulance sort of thing. I don't think it was enough for a red card, but you're giving... I think if I was speaking to him afterwards, I'm like, you're giving the referee a decision to make that you didn't need to.
That's the perfect way of putting it. Yeah.
You didn't need to give... You know, I mean, yeah, the referee's made the right decision in giving you a yellow card, but you're giving... I mean, you saw how quick the linesman was like, yeah, give him a red. You know what I mean? So you're giving him a decision, you know, you need to cut that out of your game because, you know, but he was our best centre-back yesterday.
Yeah, he was.
He was our best centre-back. And then, like, to then hear people afterwards saying he should be dropped.
Yeah, I know.
I just think it's ridiculous. Dropped for who? It'd be the type of player that if he was out, and I think he's on 4 yellows now, and Saliba, they're on 4 yellows.
Okay.
So, you know, that
Chelsea
game looming.
Tactical insight there.
That Chelsea game looming, you know, they get another yellow, that's it. They miss the next game. I think if Gabriel is out, we'll all see that, you know, what we miss. He has made those errors. You are right, but I still would not drop him.
No, I wouldn't.
For those errors that he's made in that game. He's been a very good player for us. Last season, lots of fans were saying he should be the captain. Consistently our best defender last season.
Yeah.
Saliba turns up as a... Yeah, I love Saliba's been brilliant. All of a sudden now drop him. Well, have we got another Saliba to come in and replace him as well?
No, I'm with you. And remember last week when we were staunchly defending him as well, we said, notice how if Gabriel Jesus makes a mistake, or Martinelli makes a mistake, or Saka makes a mistake, it ultimately nothing really comes of it, because Jesus made one of the biggest mistakes of them all yesterday, and that was missing that chance. But strikers are kind of more allowed to make mistakes. They're allowed to miss chances. It's just kind of more widely accepted, which I think is right. But with Gabriel and Saliba and Ramsdale, their errors, or Ben White, their errors, there's nothing you can do about it. You made that error, and that team's at goal. Their team is in front of your goal if you make that error. And I think that's why they're highlighted so much, and we need to remember that. We need to basically cushion them a little bit when we're talking about the criticisms. But it's just been a little bit of a slight recurring theme amongst what's been actually quite a good season.
What would you say this season has been probably our worst defensive performance?
I really thought it was, that's a good question. I mean, I think yesterday, but then probably United for how open we were. Like, the home games haven't been great, have they?
I'd say our worst defensive performance was that second half against Bodo Glimt.
Oh, sure. I wasn't even thinking of Europa, but yeah, that second half against Bodo
Would you say that's the worst defensive
Yeah, that was
performance?
bad. Yeah, that was pretty bad. Yeah.
For all those people who say drop Gabriel, was Gabriel playing?
Oh, there you go. I knew there was an angle.
Was Gabriel playing in that game?
No, you're right. He wasn't, yeah. Yeah, fair point.
Serious. No,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
this is why sometimes let's just be, let's just think,
But there's the added context of it's a young team. Like, let's give them time. The improvement's been so good. They're not going to be perfect. They're going to have their errors. And Gabriel was there for that horrible winter or autumn where we went like 1 win out of 11, and he's come through and is still a key part of this team as the team's now in a title race and 4 points clear of City. I mean, so I think there's context to all these things, but I think it's also just important to understand why maybe there's that extra heat on someone like Gabriel. I'm with you. I think he's had a good season, and we really defended him last week, and rightly so.
But he does. I'm with you also when you say he's got to cut out some of these stupid errors, because
look at us agreeing.
We're agreeing on that. We're agreeing because he does need to cut out some of these errors.
Yeah.
But where I do take issue of dropping him, come on.
No, you can't. Because,
dropping
but
him.
Also, there's no obvious Ben White's playing flawlessly at right back for me. So what? You want to move him out of there to then put Tomiyasu at right back? Okay, or you put Tomiyasu left centre back. But we've not seen him there. I'm sure he could do a job, but you don't really. Tomiyasu came in yesterday. Why? Because he played really well against Liverpool. He wasn't that good yesterday.
No,
we needed more.
He was.
We needed more going forward. Really,
he didn't offer nothing going forward. He did make that little error where he got bailed out, but apart from that, I thought again though, he was pretty. I mean, he was part of the reason why we kept a clean sheet.
Staunchly defended hard.
And he worked his socks off, man. There always seemed to be an Arsenal body in front of a shot, or when just when Leeds were looking to get that shot off, and that's why I say that's good defending. It's like sometimes you just got to get, it's not going for you. You just got to get bodies behind the ball. And in Tomiyasu, I think that's what we've got now. We've got in Tomiyasu as a defender. Mm-hmm. Ben White knows how to defend. Gabriel knows how to defend. Saliba knows how to defend. Partey was pretty deep, getting little blocks in and that, even though I didn't think he was great with the ball. But without the ball, he was really helping out. Saka, we knows, will always put a shift in. I saw Saka getting back to help out on one wing. Martinelli sacrificed a lot of his game to help out. So did Jesus. It was a sort of backs to the wall that listen, we're looking on it now, and we've been used to seeing a great attacking performances by Arsenal. But I think we could look back on this game, hopefully towards the end of the season when we've achieved something big, and say, remember that Leeds performance.
I take real issue with some of you in the comments though, saying, why are we even talking about it? We won. What does it matter? Hold on, because we can't. If we're actually going to be fair, right? And I think on this platform, we're trying to talk around all angles. Some people will be thinking we won, brilliant, forget it. That was actually Turkish's tone in the fan cam. Other people will be going, hold on, we weren't very good, and we need to understand why.
There's loads of people in there saying
exactly, absolutely. But we can't sit here after the Man United performance where we lost. We didn't just go, we lost, whatever, move on. No, we talked about how good we were. We gave the team massive credit and massive praise, and we said, carry on. And they responded by winning at Brentford 3-0. So we've got to, we've got to be balanced. And saying this one, The
other thing is as well, James, it's a talking point. Everybody, there's a lot of people you know, even after the game, a couple of guys were saying that to me. So, you know, some people are saying we should drop Gabriel. That's why we're discussing it today. I personally think we should lay off Gabriel, leave the guy, let him, you know. I'm sure the coaches are saying to him, yeah, cut out those errors. But in general, he's been good.
Yeah.
And I don't agree. But there are some people who believe he should be dropped. Unless, you know, and that's what we're all about here. Well, I mean, it's, you know, let them have their view. Let's hear what they have to say. I'm giving my point of view. I don't agree with that, but that doesn't mean that other people can't have their say and their view that is totally the opposite. That's what football's all about. And there are some people out there who believe that he should be dropped.
Yep.
And, you know, that's entirely up to them.
Andre says, I agree we were poor, but I wouldn't say we were lucky. Fact is, you have to earn your points. Leeds did not score, even when they had a penalty. Rearguard performances also count too, James.
Exactly.
Andre, yeah.
Exactly.
I've explained that. But yeah, I also appreciate your super chat.
But as I said, right, as I said, we were poor against Bodo Glimt in that second half. That was the game in which I said we were lucky. Even saw my fan cams on that. For me, I felt we were very lucky because they had a couple of times when they were through on goal and, like, you know, one-on-ones and they completely just blazed it over or put it wide, right? Gabriel did not play in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, for you want him dropped. He didn't play in that game. That's our worst defensive performance of the season. So, you know, I just, you know, let's just put a bit of perspective on it.
Abdullah, sorry I missed your super chat earlier. Here it is. He says, I love Gabby, but mistakes versus Fulham, pen versus Spurs, was lucky versus Leeds, 9 points in real risk. Last season, crucial City game. Yeah, that's the City game's a good point. He is a clumsy one and his spot shouldn't be for granted. Admit it, Robbie.
Nobody's spot should be for granted. Even Saliba's spots shouldn't be for granted. Right? We've seen, you know, Kieran Tierney's spots not being for granted. Nobody in that team.
Yeah, I agree.
If we're a top team, nobody's spot should be for granted.
Yeah, and Tierney and Tomi are the examples of that. Last season, they were undroppable. No way we could go into the game without those two. And now, it's like, well, how do they get back in? Dave Jordan says, James, there's more than one element to defending well. We weren't hard to play through. Sorry. We weren't hard to play. Right, sorry, yes, I agree with that. We weren't hard to play through, but we defended our box well. Crucial blocks and crucial moments.
Exactly.
Dave, I agree, which is
that's
why...
what I felt. You know what I mean? Sometimes, you know, you can... Yeah, teams can sort of progress, but when, you know, we obviously sat pretty deep. Yeah. And had to soak up a lot of, you know, Leeds played very well. You know what I mean? They put it on us, man. But we responded. It was a rear guard action. Yeah. And, you know, that's how you have to be sometimes. It's not every week you're just going to, you know, blaze away a team like what we did, say, for instance, at Brentford away. In a way, it's a bit of a pleasing win because...
Oh, it's good to have those wins. Yeah. Yeah, it is, absolutely. But
I swear we would have folded last year.
Yeah, probably.
We would have folded. We would have lost that game. And the year before that, you know, we would have folded. We would have fell apart. We would have... I mean, remember when we were under the cosh at Everton?
Yeah.
We just fell apart and lost the game.
Yeah.
I think the team yesterday wouldn't have lost that Everton game. We're at our best in that game. I don't think we'd have lost it. But I remember that game, Everton started having chance after chance, and you could just see us folding. He's like, you look at it saying it's just inevitable that it's coming. I didn't really feel that yesterday. I felt that, listen, we're under a lot of pressure, but I didn't feel like it's inevitable a goal's going to come.
That is good. That is good spirit. Says James. The sad thing is that you're inviting toxicity when picking a scapegoat. Many players fail to do their defensive duty, not just one player. Who have I scapegoated? Who have I?
You're under pressure today, but you haven't. He hasn't scapegoated no one.
Scapegoated anyone.
He hasn't scapegoated anything.
Absolute nonsense.
The only thing me and you was arguing about was
about the team.
The team being lucky.
Yeah. Moses is spot on. How did VAR not mention the offside to the ref? I mean, in fairness, I think the VAR have to check it internally. The ref never checks the offside himself. But at the same time, you know, the
VAR. He's right though. The VAR should be saying to the referee when.
Should be telling him. You mean that he could be offside?
Didn't the referee? Hold on 1 second. So the referee was sent to check the screen.
To see whether it actually was a handball, because we went up and had
to see if there's a handball.
Yeah.
But what also the VAR shouldn't have sent him there because they should have seen it was offside, right? Anyway, so they shouldn't have sent him at all to the screen. They should have been. And then when the discussion would have took place afterwards as to why did the referee not go and check the screen because that was an obvious handball, right? It would have been there was an offside in the build-up.
Yeah.
So that's why, or it should have been like, those when they do the VAR check, right, on field as the game's going on. They haven't sent him to the screen, and then it just comes up on the screen, and it would say offside in the build-up. And then everybody inside the ground would have been like, oh, well, it was an obvious handball, but that's the reason why it weren't given. But the VAR completely missed that, and that was shocking.
Yeah.
If that goal would have gone in now, we'd be talking about that today.
Yeah, we would.
If that penalty would have gone in.
I agree. Defensive analysis from Graphicone says, Tomi fatigued and uncomfortable, Saliba not great, Gabriel best performer, Ben White was knackered and overloaded. Agree with that. Abdullah, again, thank you for your second super chat. Apologies, I missed the first one. Jason says, but against Man United, we didn't have many chances. How many saves did De Gea have to make? But we say United were lucky.
No, they were lucky. They were lucky in that game because we were peppering them all game with more clear-cut chances than what Leeds had. Leeds didn't really have many clear-cut chances, and we did the stat. They had 4 shots on goal, right? We had 4 shots on goal. Let me do a couple of them for you as well. Abdullah says the bigger problem was our midfielders could not keep the ball. Boring and safe El Neni was needed. See how many times the likes of Odegaard lost possession on the second.
In the second half, I thought Odegaard was
half.
really good in the first half. Actually.
Yeah, he was good in the first half. He weren't great in the second half. Freddie Yusu says we had to reflect our offence was compared to August's performance. This same team would have lost against Crystal Palace, but had you have told me we'd be 4 points clear and first in the table, I love nothing more. Remember that Crystal Palace performance is very, very similar. I think that's where you look at it and you say this team has come on a lot. Remember that Crystal Palace performance.
The 2-0 win.
Yeah, very similar to yesterday, where they absolutely put it on us. And we just crumbled and lost the game. Yesterday we didn't. It's a good sign.
Oh, you mean last
season? When we lost last season to Crystal
right.
Palace. Arsenal 17 says, can I watch a live stream for my 18th birthday match on the 30th of October versus Forest? All right, email us, Arsenal 17. You never know. We'll see what we can do. And happy birthday for when it comes.
We've got another one from J3F3 says people need to understand Gabriel was our best defender last season and we were praying for the Saliba partnership. Yes, he has mistakes but played very good. PSV96 says I get the frustration with Gabriel but the way some fans are turning on him is mad. Let's not forget before Saliba fans were saying he was our best centre back. I agree. And then people need to stop confusing bad form with bad player or bad team. And if you want an example of that, it's Liverpool, because look how the form they've been in. Arsenal beat them and deserved to, and they go and beat City, and I thought had some really good moments yesterday.
I called it.
Yeah, and everyone's going, "Oh, they're finished. No, they're finished now. They're done. Liverpool's over."
We was in here the other day, wasn't it? Remember, we was in the office, and somebody said, "Oh, they're out of it. They're finished." And I said, "What are you talking about, man?" And I go, "Still a top team, even against us."
Yeah,
they played well in part. You know what I mean? All right, we got the win, but it weren't like we just smoked them. They're a good side.
Gibby says, the same guys that were attacking the manager are now attacking Gabriel. They're like leeches. They hop from one weak link to another if it makes them feel like they have...
Well, I think that's a bit unfair.
I think that's
and let me
unfair.
stick up for people who are having a go at Gabriel. It's their opinion, and he has made a lot of mistakes. That is the reality of it, and they feel that somebody else could come in and do better. I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
But that's their opinion. I completely respect that. I don't think you can't call them leeches just because they've got an opinion that may be slightly going against the grain. They want what's best for the Arsenal Football Club.
Yep.
They want to see us win games. And if they're seeing a player that's made a lot of errors, right? So they're entitled to say that. I respect you a lot, but I totally disagree with what you're saying there. You can't call them leeches.
Yep.
Sorry, that's wrong.
I agree with you. Honest Arsenal fan says the problem with Gabriel is that he's getting worse every season, and his best season being his first. Eventually, he will become the next Stepanovs. This
I totally disagree with that.
Wade Sage says this fan base has an incredible ability to make scapegoats out of players. Gabriel is the new one. Adam says, Robbie, you sound like Ty with your defense of Gabriel.
Sorry to that.
Yeah, go on.
Well, it sounded like Ty. But that one that says, that we hear this a lot, this fan base Every fan base does it. We always this fan base. It's only Arsenal fans that moan about players.
Might be crazy.
I heard Liverpool fans last week crucifying Trent Alexander-Arnold for his errors. Look at some of the great things he's done for them. He helped them. Remember that manoeuvre that he did, helped them to win the European Cup. Yeah, he's been one of them best players over the years. Right, he's going for a bad patch. They're looking to crucify him. It's not just Arsenal. It's not just the Arsenal fan base. This is a thing that happens with all fan bases because everybody has an opinion.
I agree. Lee says, question, if Gabriel doesn't get in that situation with the red card at the end, do we focus on Saliba's 2 mistakes? Maybe, but it's kind of like...
He's got a lot of credit in the bank, Saliba, in it, because he's been so good.
Yeah, and for this season, and he's
been so good, so... It's so hard to criticise him when he does make an error because he's been that good. Even in the game, he's done a lot of good things. So, but he did make the handball.
What Will says, I understand being positive and riding the wave and everything's great. But the easiest thing in the world to do is criticise this team when things aren't going well. The hardest things to do are actually to try and praise this team and pick them up when things aren't going well. So everyone being ultra positive and saying, don't focus on that. Stick up for the team when things aren't going well, which we did after we lost to Man United. But when things are going well, also you can acknowledge the bits that aren't going right and be like, okay, yes, we won, brilliant. Yes, we're top of the league with 4 clear. Oh, but actually, Saliba wasn't that great yesterday. And Gabriel maybe got a bit lucky with that, leg. And, maybe we got a little bit lucky not to concede a goal. It's fine. You can look at those things. People sort of want you to just ignore it because we're winning. Anyway, Adiyink says, Gabriel was better. He commits more. If we have 2 Salibas, one will have to be aggressive and that one will make more mistakes. Saliba mops up. Interesting. I'll look out for that more. What else have we got? Abdul says, the bigger problem was our midfielders could not keep the ball. Boring and safe. You did do that. Apologies. Which ones haven't we done? Do you want to see it go from there?
Is it Diallo?
I'm behind.
I'm not sure what he's on about. The racial undertones to that name call. I'm not sure what he's talking about on that one. People should stop calling Gabby the Bozo gene, I think he was saying, but I don't really understand that.
Oh, sorry. The term bozo gene's been thrown around. I don't even really know what bozo means. I think it just means you got
the term bozo's like when you're a bit of an idiot.
Right.
I don't think he's a bozo, but listen. Abdullah says, we looked fatigued, too many away games. Arteta has decisions to make for PSV and Southampton away. We need top spot in the Europa League. We need to go to the World Cup 2022 and be top of the Premier League. Now, he has got a decision to make. I think that's a very good one from Abdullah, because I do feel that fatigue played a part. I understand that the Arsenal team didn't fly back on the same night after the game.
Lee told me
they stayed in Norway and trained, and they looked tired in the second half. They just didn't look nowhere near up to the pace of what Leeds were. We know that Leeds are a very physical and quick team. We know Leeds can blow away teams. They blew away Chelsea at home 3-0, remember?
Yeah.
But, we need to win that group, and we've got PSV coming up on Thursday night, and I feel we might have to go with a pretty strong team because it's kind of between us and them to win the group. And then we've got Southampton away, which is a game that we want to win to maintain, particularly when you think that after this week's games, because remember, everybody's got games during the week apart from us in the Premier League, because our game against Manchester City got cancelled, and this game against PSV is a rearranged Europa League game because of, remember when the Queen sadly passed away. So we need to win that Southampton game to keep maintaining, our sort of position at the top. So it is an interesting one. What sort of team? I don't think you can go too weak against PSV. They're a good side.
They are a good side.
And we've also got at the weekend Southampton away. We lost there last year. We don't want to go there and lose there this year. So and we don't want to go there and be tired like we were against Bodo Glimt, because one thing we know about Arsenal teams, they will put the effort in. They will run and run and run.
Yeah, I agree. And listen, a little part of it is just, while it's important we talk about every game and we break it all down, I think from the Arsenal players' perspective and from Arteta's perspective, it might also be a case of sure, let's analyse this, let's work on what we did wrong in training, but also, all right, we got out of this week 2 1-0 wins, 2 clean sheets away from home, 2 difficult places to go. And if you don't think Bodo's a difficult place to go, ask Jose Mourinho and Roma.
Well, they hadn't lost a game there
exactly.
in 14 games in Europe.
And now it's, okay, cool, back on home soil on Thursday night, then a trip to Southampton. It's hardly a lot of travelling across the week. And if we beat PSV, you think top spot is all but secured, really. We can now put it behind us and just focus on this. It's a new week and there's new games. But I want to echo something you said earlier, that people have opinions, and there's nothing, as long as no one's abusive, as long as no one's over the top, if you've got opinions about things, you want to flag things before they become a problem, that's absolutely fair enough.
Antonio says Gabby is not looking good because him and Saliba are similar defenders. White probably fits Gabby better because White is more mobile, he says. Saliba's mobile as well, though.
Well, I think they're all mobile. I never thought of Gabriel as slow or cumbersome. I think he's very.
That boy Random says Odegaard is suspect apart from the assists. He was poor. I thought he was good. I agree with you, James. In the first half, he was good. In the second half, his levels definitely dropped off. And is that all the super chats before we finish the show?
I believe that is all of them.
We've got through them. A lot of them in today. Yeah. You guys have had a lot to say today, and we love it. Absolutely love it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a good debate, and the reality is we've got the 3 points, and ultimately it doesn't matter. I think we all agree that 2 things: A, if you're to be a successful team, whether it be winning trophies, just getting to the top 4, winning the Premier League, you're gonna have to have games where you suffer like that.
Win ugly.
You're gonna have to have games where you just we just dug in and by hook or by crook, and I'm going to say both, you get something. However, I think we also agree we don't want to watch Arsenal play like that every week.
No, we don't. No, because it's not good for my heart. So
there's something in the middle. Bilal, super chat there. I'll get that. He said, we'll get stick for this, but Arteta is provoking Kieran Tierney and he is risking losing him. Even Martin Keough noticed.
Big up Canadian Gooner, but I'm sorry. That's another one that always gets on my nerves, right? Because this is a top club now, and you've got to earn your place. And no one's automatically in. And also, I feel that there's a lot of managing of Kieran Tierney going on.
Yeah.
Remember this guy's injury record. So the fact that he doesn't have to start every game is a good thing right now. When you think about his injury record, I think he will start against PSV.
Yeah, I'm sure he will.
And let's hope we can. When's Zinchenko back is when I'd like to know, because we could do with him coming back as well.
Yeah. And then that boy Random says, you see Sammy's interview today? I was telling the song. I actually haven't seen
his interview, no.
So I'll have a little look. This did make me laugh. Miss Ale says, James got abused today. And Robert says, James, do you just agree with everything? Let's leave it at that, yes. Actually, I will tell you now, as we're coming to the end of the show, thank you everyone who's been in the comments. Thank you all for your super chats. Please like the video if you enjoyed it, and join us for the lives for tomorrow and the rest of the week. If you think we were lucky, go watch Tactical Insight. If you think we weren't lucky, go watch Bayer's Premier League show. And then when you're done with your respected shows, then go watch the other ones. That's your homework.
Hold on. Gibby says Leeches jumped from scapegoat to scapegoat the same way the media did to AFTV when Arsenal weren't performing. They're quiet now, aren't they? They're quiet. We are performing, and it's great to see.
It is great.
Thank you very much, Gibby.
All right, guys. Robbie, it's been fun. Well, the last half hour was fun. First half hour.
He was rattled.
Do you know what I felt? I felt like Arsenal yesterday. Constant pressure. Because I couldn't get out. I couldn't get involved. I felt dominant. Yeah, it was. Yeah,
don't worry, man. I've got your back, man.
No worries. But I escaped with a 1-0 win. So we'll leave it at that, guys. It's been fun. Catch you on the next one.